What's up, guys? This is going to be a little bit different style of a video today. So, had a had an interesting conversation with somebody I met in the last, I don't know, maybe month or so. This video is specifically for mental health awareness, just because I get it. Mental health diseases exist. They're not pretty, but also people need to realize that you need to be self motivated. Um, because at the end of the day, the only thing you have is yourself. Doesn't matter if you have a family, doesn't matter if you have kids or pets. It doesn't matter if you work for a company. At the end of the day, you're an expendable asset. So how do you go about making yourself feel actual value, self value? Because a lot of people don't feel that. Some people can't get out of bed at the same time every morning. Some people can't just get up. Some people have to lay there, scroll on their phone, scroll through social media. They have to set 20 fucking alarms. Then they end up waking up late. They're in a hurry to get to work. You end up getting a speeding ticket on your way to work. And that's just not a fun day to start your day. You know, so what motivates you as a person? For me, um, it's a little different. You know, it's not just one thing that motivates me to go through every day, because we all see it. Like we all know that fake smile that you put on for your wife, your family during the holidays, you know, for your uncle's birthday party, kid's graduation. You fucking boss, so you get that promotion that you don't fucking want. You know, anybody that uses a fake smile, you fucking know. Like, exactly. You even know, even if you meet somebody and you've never met them before in your life, you instantly can tell if somebody's had a rough life or not, just by how they look at you. How they look when you look in their eyes. A lot of people don't have any trials or tribulations. When they go through life. Some people have it pretty easy. If you're like me and the 99% of everybody else, you fucking go through some shit. You know, um, Probably what motivated me the most was probably my relationship with my dad. I don't have a good relationship with my dad. I barely talk to my dad. You know, um, I got a lot of animosity. I have a lot of respect for him, because if I have any good qualities, they obviously came genetically from him, but and how I was raised. But also, it's like, I played ball as a kid. My dad didn't come to my football games. I would have buddies, players, teachers, and coaches ask, "Hey, is your dad coming today?" Nope, he's working. Walked out two of my senior nights by myself. You know, uh, it's not fun. And I remember my buddy Kyle's parents uh, kind of bitching me out, you know, and our librarian, uh, Miss Baker, um, pretty much telling me that, hey, if you'd have asked me to walk out with you, like, I'd have been proud to, but my exact words was, well, if my own dad don't want to walk out with me, then I'll walk out by myself, and that brings me to the whole like self motivation thing. Like, I get it. Some people wake up every day, fucking hate what you look like, don't even want to take a shower. Just because when you look in the mirror, you don't like what you've built, you don't like what you've created, you know, and you just feel empty. You feel like a zombie. And regardless of your situation, that's life. Life's shit. You have to hustle to make it worth anything, and even then, it can disappear in the matter of a second. You know, the one thing that probably drove me more than anything was the fact that I remember the day I left home. I remember getting in an argument with my dad. I don't even remember why I was pissed. I was in a really like toxic relationship with a girl that I probably shouldn't have been in a relationship with, and I was just pissed off. And uh, I remember sitting in my car just like not wanting to do anything, fucking just yelling at nothing. And I remember ended up getting into it with my dad, just because he'd never cared about any relationship I've been in prior. So like why ask me why I'm upset now, and you know things got pretty heated, and I remember him standing probably 3 or 4 feet from me, and I remember the day he called me a fucking failure, you know, um, and I remember going inside and packing my stuff, and I remember him walking into my room. I was pissed. I didn't, I barely heard what he said. You know, and I remember I was cussing or whatever, packing my shit, throwing all my stuff in my gym bag. That's all I had. And I remember him asking me where I was gonna fucking sleep, and my exact words was, "I'll sleep anywhere in my fucking car that's not here." And I remember leaving that day. And looking back at it, I probably wouldn't be where I am in my life if I hadn't have done that. Sometimes you just have to pack your shit and leave. Sometimes whether you're in a really shitty relationship or you're in a job that you hate every day, sometimes you have to just say fuck you and leave, and just not really give a shit about anybody but yourself, because at the end of the day, the only thing you can control is your outlook on life and your behavior. You can control your emotions, and you can. That's really all you can control at the end of the day. It doesn't. Everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Bobby Sue tells you down the road. It doesn't matter what your fucking preacher tells you. It doesn't matter what your Mormons come visit in your house tell you. Doesn't matter what your gym owner tells you. The only thing that you really need to work on is yourself. And sometimes to do that, you have to leave and you have to hit rock bottom. I remember bouncing from places to place. Um, Struggling. I remember keeping my gym membership because the only time that I could feel something was at the gym. And I remember working out for 3 or 4 hours at a time, just trying to fucking kill myself, and supersetting everything, not giving a shit if I was injured or sick or bleeding or fucking throwing up. If I was running a fever, I was going to the fucking gym every day. I didn't give a shit. And I remember the first time I felt like I had a home was, it sounds stupid to most people, but the first time that I remember I had a home was the day that my gym owner asked me how school was, because I was in college. I got really lucky with the gym I went to. A lot of my friends from school used to work out at a place called Solid Image in Jasper, Alabama. It was probably had the best environment that somebody dealing with a lot of anger issues could have been in, because it's what I had. Pissed off all the time because of work, school, struggling to, find a meal, struggling just to see progress with myself, and I mean, we all have relationship problems. At the time I was dating a girl that had a lot of mental health issues. She was a pretty bad cutter, and that's something that I don't wish anybody to go through. A lot of people don't realize that, when you date somebody like that, how it can affect you mentally, even in like future relationships. I remember walking in on her and she was just covered in blood, and all I could do is, take her to the emergency room. I mean, what else can you fucking do? And that was probably one of the most painful images that I've ever went through in my life. That relationship didn't work out, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. Uh, but far as being self-motivated, like, you can't teach that to anybody, and as many, anti-bullying classes as you can go to, as many self-help books you can read, as many personal health coaches that you can hire. They might be able to help you manage your stress, but there's nobody that can actually teach you how to be self-motivated. That's something you have to figure out on your own. And for me, it was always chasing success. Like, and for the longest, I didn't even know what success was. I just knew that I wasn't gonna let my dad call me a fucking failure, and I just knew that I was gonna do whatever I had to do to prove him wrong. For me. And through several injuries, I managed to stay in the gym. Two failed contest preps. I prepped for Rocket City one year and tore my calf. Ran out of just ran out of money and couldn't even complete. I think I got all the way down to like 2 weeks out. Barely made it to peak week, and then I couldn't afford it anymore. My mind was shot. I felt cold. I felt like a zombie. I didn't even want to train. Um, I was on like maybe 800 calories, doing like 2-3 hours of cardio, two training sessions and work and school, and it just wasn't a good place for me mentally. But I did it, and then I remember prepping for show number two. Didn't even get like 3 or 4 weeks into my prep, and I tore a pec. I actually tore this pec, right where it wraps underneath. So I've had a lot of injuries, and how do you stay self motivated through injuries? Because you're always mentally, you always think, hey, today could be the day that I really hurt myself. Do I want to go put myself through that pain again? Do I want to, do I really want to fucking do this? Especially if you have no insurance, 90% of the year, I don't have insurance. I, I never get sick, so it's like, why pay for it, And so it's always in your mind that, hey, today could be my last day, And for most people that you know hate their fucking self, you wake up in the morning and you're a fucking machine. You're a goddamn robot. You don't care. We already know work's gonna be awful. We already know our significant other, is gonna bitch at us when we get home. We know that family members are going to complain, say you cuss too much, say you're a bad influence on people, and you just wake up and you're just like, fuck everybody. I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna pay my bills, I'm gonna fucking come home, and you feel like shit every day. And it's just something that needs to be made more aware. Like, I remember two conversations that probably has kept me going the longest. When I tore a ton of stuff in high school right before I got into that argument with my dad, and I left. I remember watching Mark Megna's Hall of Fame speech, and I still have the video saved on my phone. I don't even remember how long of a video it is, but I think I've had it saved on my phone since probably shit, that was like 2011 or 2012, and I remember watching that and thinking, I want to be like that one day. I want to be successful, with myself, and I can relate. Coming from a small town, nobody knows where the fuck Winston County is. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about you. It's not a great town. There's a lot of drugs and shit and countryside and hicks and shit like that. Nobody gives a fuck about them kind of people. Everything closes at 5. I think we had one red light until I graduated, like maybe one stop sign, And I remember watching that over and over and over again, especially when I was in college. When I was on my own, pretty much living in a Cavalier, I remember watching that. I remember watching old videos of Jay Cutler, you know, um, talking about you kind of have to be introverted. Like you kind of have to find that place to where that place nobody wants to go to. You know, a lot of people talk about that place to where you absolutely ignore everybody. You become, arrogant. You become narcissistic. And you pretty much become a dick to everybody, friends, family. You don't talk to people. You don't fucking call people. People call you, you tell them what they need to know, and you hang up and you don't call them back. I had to do that to make it through college, and that was, it's not fun, Um, I just know for a fact that you just you just can't, you can't keep that up forever. You can bottle all your emotions, pain, regret, and then you're eventually going to snap on somebody, and I've snapped on several people, you know, um, definitely ruined relationships with it in the past, and to stay motivated, you have to worry about waking up the next day. It's like, meh, it's another day, it's another dollar. It is what it is. If any person ever tells you that they're fine or it is what it is, just know that they've probably been through some really horrible shit, whether it be personally with a relative or anybody, and there's nothing you can do to them that's going to affect them in any way. And for staying motivated, like, some people don't have the luxuries of having an idol. Some people don't come from a good family. Some people come from broken homes, if they're lucky to have a home at all. And I just remember probably when I was at my lowest, the two the two conversations that helped me out more than anything was Chaz Stone and my conversation with Mark Megna. Um, I was homeless at the time and was living in my car trying to find a place to rent in Jasper. And I was having a problem with one of my bosses. He's just a fucking dick. He's just a fucking piece of shit. You know, and I remember cussing him out in front of my manager. I told him he was my fucking problem. You know, and I exploded on him. I mean, if there's a cuss word long enough, like I said it that day. And like to the point to where I probably scared him, and they probably should have terminated me on the spot. And I was so angry, and I was going through a lot of stuff at the time. I think me and Tiffany, I think I was in a relationship with a girl named Tiffany, and it was not a good, not good. And then also being, homeless and trying to hide the fact that, like, hey, I'm in a car taking a shower at a gym. And I remember having a conversation with Chaz Stone, and he he pretty much told me that I had two options. You know, I could either move and run away from my problems, you know, I could just fucking deal with it, and do the best that I could do. And that helped me out for a while. Um, Definitely helped me out as far as what I did at work. I started trying to do more stuff for my boss. Because I was a pretty shitty part timer. Just because if I don't get paid a lot, I mean, more they pay me, the more work that you're going to get out of me. And then I remember one of the worst days that I had. Um, I believe it was the day either me and the girl broke up. I can't even remember how. There was a lot of stuff going on at that time in my life, and I didn't really have anybody to reach out to. Like I said, I don't really talk to any of my family a whole lot. A lot of my friends didn't even know. And I remember I added Mark Magna on my Snapchat. Um, I don't even know why I thought he would reply. I guess you don't even think. You're like, hey, this is some famous person played in the NFL and has a gym and a fantastic career, and he'll probably never respond. That's exactly what I thought at the time. And I remember asking for some advice, and I don't even think it was 5 or 10 minutes, and I got a snapback. And I remember talking to him for probably about an hour, hour and a half. Um, and I don't think anybody else has ever gave me better advice, you know. And his advice was very similar to Chad Stone's, but it just was more relatable, you know. I guess from talking to somebody that you look up to, you know. I guess we all have those people that we idolize, as far as like college athletes, NFL athletes, movie stars or whatever. Some people like Ryan Reynolds, some people like Chris Pratt, some people like Lady Gaga. It's just whatever you like. But, you know, I just remember that the advice that I got from him that day, like, I wouldn't be where I am without it, as far as being self motivated, you know. I'm not going to tell anybody what he said to me. It's private between me and him. But I just know that at that moment I knew I needed to be the best version of myself for myself, and through everything, failed relationships, from injuries in the gym. Like, I just knew that, like, one day I'll make it. Um, I didn't care about what anybody thought. I'm gonna post whatever I want to post. If I want to post 40 fucking photos of me in the gym, preaching about muscle tech, I'm going to. It's my social media. I'll do what I want. If I want to diet year round, I'm going to diet year round. If I want to take a week off, I'll take a week off. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do for me, because at the end of the day, that's the only person that I can count on is myself. And that's when it comes down to being self motivated, the only thing you can do is count on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're all you fucking got. Who gets you out of bed every morning? You do. Who drives you to work? You do. Who cooks for you? You fucking cook for you. You know, and I just knew after that no matter what, I was going to be very goal orientated, and I'm going to do what I need to do to win, at life. And it comes full circle. We all have slumps. We all go through trials. And some people that have never been through anything won't understand a single word I'm saying, because you've never been through shit. And that's just, some people need to have tougher skin. But people that really struggle with mental health, going on every day, some days you don't want to wake up. Some days you feel like it would be better off if you didn't. Like, the world really miss you. Like, the world really miss Sleepy Dog Fitness. If I were not to be here tomorrow, who all would that affect? Because there's some days where you don't feel like it would affect anybody. Nobody cares. You know, I remember I remember struggling and not getting a phone call from anybody. It does work two ways. I didn't call anybody. That's a pride thing. Part of being self motivated is you have to have a little bit of pride in yourself. Some people don't understand that. I remember working in a mall, having one pair of shoes. They were so ripped up, like, I had to fucking tape the bottom of them just so people didn't know that they were ripped. And I remember when I took over my first store, um, the owner of the shoe store, or the manager. I don't know if she was the owner or the manager. She was a good friend of mine. She used to work out at the same gym, and I remember us talking one day, and we were talking about both our stories, because she had been through similar stuff, and like relationship problems and stuff like that, and I remember her asking me why I didn't call my dad for help. And I just remember telling her that, why the fuck would I? You know, fuck him, like, fuck them, fuck people. They don't care about me. Like, they don't ask if I'm okay. Like, why would they give a shit that I'm struggling now? Like, it was 100% a pride thing. Wanting to prove everybody wrong, that like, oh, you're a failure, you're not successful, like, you're worthless. Like, that's how I felt at the time. It was like, I'm not successful. Like, I'll talk to him when I feel successful. And waking up every day through that was awful. you know and people don't realize that. Like, people don't realize that the amount of energy it takes to get up every day and do stuff you don't want to do. Like, I know there's people out there that work a horrible job, that have like 3 or 4 kids, 4 mortgages, in $30,000 worth of debt. Kudos to them for getting up and going what they have to fucking do every day. Because some people can't. Some people don't have the mental strength to, no matter what, your dog dies, you get a divorce, your, you know, significant other kills herself, like, and you just get up, you just feel cold, calm, you know, um, irritated at the world. But you get up every day. You get up at the same time every day. You don't sleep. You sleep less. You just turn into a robot. Is all that you do, and you just window dress everything. Well, crashed my car today. It's okay. Fuck it. Adds character. Who cares? And that's not a great mental place to be in, but it's all about how you view everything too. Because it's like, looking back, it's like, would I be the person I am today if I didn't go through all of that? Like, how would I have turned out? It's like, yeah, I could have asked for help from a lot of people, but it's like, if I had asked for help, like, how would that have changed my outlook on life? Even from the people that you meet. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, a lot of people don't understand that, hey, you know, living for humanity is different than living for yourself. A lot of people don't realize that it's people that wake up every day that choose not to end everything that day. Is those are the most beneficial people to society. Those are people that, no matter what, no matter how bad the weather is, they just put a rain jacket on and go to work. And whether or not that motivates you or not, you gradually progress. And that's really the only thing that's kept me going since I've been on my own, is, you know, making it day by day. Today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday, next day's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, it's Monday again. And some days you just have to. Some days you just have to kind of set back and be aware of yourself. Like, there's a lot of things in this world, and you're one of them. And no matter what, if you work hard and you learn something new every day, or you focus all of your life on one aspect and you succeed, nobody can take that away from you. Whether it's starting a business, hitting a PR in the gym, or getting a date with somebody that you want to. It's, at the end of the day, you have to be the very best person that you can be for you, not for anybody else. You have to truly. It sounds cliche when you say it, but you have to truly give no fucks. You know, it's not a religion thing. It's not a God thing. It's not a family thing. It's a you. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes you have to ignore all of that. Sometimes you have to not go to church. Sometimes you have to not take that vacation. Sometimes you have to not answer that phone. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself. And that's something that you can't find in any book. You're not going to listen on any podcast. The only way you can truly take care of yourself is to be honest with yourself. Like, what have I done to be successful? What have I done to self motivate me? Like, why do I wake up every day? Like, why do I put myself through this torment every day? And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't be honest with themselves. A lot of people can't make a short term goal and actually accomplish it. Whether it be anything, learning something new, reading a book, adding 5 pounds onto your max, being nice to somebody, not being that asshole, and some days you just honestly have to ignore everybody, and you just have to do it. That's the hardest thing to teach somebody to be self motivated is, or to even motivate yourself, is that, hey, I actually have to do this. I don't have a choice to do this. That's what probably drives me more than anything. Is it's like your back's always against the wall. You have no help. You're one life strand from dying. You know, sometimes you don't have the luxury for asking for help, and some people need to hear that. Like, sometimes you have to just fucking do it. You have to start. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes you just have to make yourself do it. You know, you can't wake up early in the morning, buy a goddamn alarm clock, set it across the room. You can't read, buy an English teacher. Whatever the fuck you need to do. And you have to be willing to motivate yourself. It's not easy. It's not easy for me. You know, uh, Sometimes you have to take 2 grams of caffeine on an empty stomach and risk having a stroke to feel something. It'd probably be safer just to do a hit of cocaine. You could go to drugs. There's a ton of times in my life that it's like I could have went down that route. I could have been that person. Um, that instead of going to the gym every day to feel something, I could have did drugs. But I didn't. You know, because for me, I wanted to build something that I could be proud of. Like, I wanted to build something that I could be successful at. To prove everybody wrong that, hey, like, I don't have to go to the military. I don't have to get a master's degree in anything. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know, because at the end of the day, as long as you work hard for something, and then when you earn it, nobody can say anything to you about it. And a lot of people can't get that mindset. Like, sometimes you have to go to that place. Sometimes you have to embrace that darkness, that clouds you every day. Sometimes you just have to say, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. And a lot of people won't ever feel that. A lot of people just won't. A lot of people will continue to go to work every day. You know, um, Sometimes you don't have the luxury of getting out of a bad situation. Sometimes you have to go through a lot of shit. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to actually find yourself. And that's probably the thing that's motivated me the best is, I've hit rock bottom before. I have. I I remember one day I didn't even know if I was going to get to eat or shower. You know, I remember not being able to sleep. You know, um, and and then there's other days where it's like go eat somewhere nice, steakhouse, and you appreciate it a lot more because the other side of life. The best way to stay self motivated personally is after you hit rock bottom, there's no place you can go but up. You just have to actually work to get out of the situation that you're in. You have to be willing to suck it up. You have to be willing to just work, even if you don't like what you do, to get where you want to be. We all work those jobs. We all have jobs that we don't fucking like to do. We all, some people work 9 to 5s. I feel you, blue collar. We pay our taxes. We get shit on. But at the end of the week, we get somewhat ahead. There's a lot of stuff that motivates me to be my best. Humanity's one of those. Because at the end of the day, I've tried religion. I used to go to church every Sunday. I used to drive 2 hours to church every Sunday. And all it got me was the Sunday school teacher telling me that I needed to find a new church. So you know what I did? I quit going to church. I went to the gym on Sundays. I focused on myself. And I was a lot happier because I didn't go. And that might piss a lot of people off, but it gave me time to work on myself. And that's just what some people don't realize, is that sometimes it's not, God's not going to do anything for you that you can't do for your fucking self. Always remember that. God doesn't put your shoes on for you. He doesn't, he doesn't brush your teeth for you in the morning. You have to fucking do that. And you have to do that whether you like to or not. He doesn't clock you in at work every day. You have to get up and go to work every day. No different than being in the gym. You have to fucking go. Whether you feel like it or not, whether you're sick, whether you're hurting, whether you're injured, even in times where like you don't feel like you should. There's been many times in my life where I felt worthless. Like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like, this is fucking stupid. Every good champion thought about quitting once in their life, but they didn't. As far as stuff that's motivating to me, being told I can't do something motivates me. The people that I interact with motivate me. Whether you've met them in real life or not, um, everybody can relate. But I just know, as far as being self motivated, the only thing that motivates me is that I'll always do whatever I have to fucking do to succeed. And I couldn't even tell you what being successful means, because I don't consider myself successful yet. What have I done to make myself successful? Because I don't feel like I've done anything. But I just know that I haven't failed. It took me the longest time to get those words out of my head. I remember people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, when's the last time you talked to your folks?" I haven't. When's the last time you talked to your dad? I haven't. You know, you know, you don't think that I always remember that? I have a fine relationship with him now. I can be cordial. I have a lot of respect for him, but there's always going to be that spot that reminds me, like, you know, my own parent called me a failure. And then there's always that other part that's like, I wouldn't be where I am if he hadn't have said that. I'd been at home. I'd ended up working a job I didn't want to, doing a career I didn't want to, not being myself, you know, not being an outgoing person, not being a goal orientated person, go working hard to do whatever the fuck I want to do, you know, and at the end of the day, some people just don't understand that, you know, sometimes we get in this society to where everybody has light skin. Nobody can take criticism anymore. Nobody can take being bullied. That's probably what motivates me the most is the fact that I was bullied. Because there is no champion of any sport, whether it's football, baseball, an Olympic athlete. There's no athlete that has never been bullied that was ever great. And if you can find one, they're a liar. We all were bullied for something. You know, Arnold was bullied for having small legs. I was bullied for being tiny in school, tiny and weak. You know, some people are bullied for being slow. Some people are bullied by how they look. That's the best motivation that you can honestly give somebody. Because at the end of the day, when I look back, as far as the people that bullied me in high school, or you know, my parent, or even people you think are your friends that talk shit behind your back, I'm not angry at them. You know, they they said what they had to say, but it's my response that motivates me because it's like, all right, fuck you. Let me prove you wrong. You know, let me be that outgoing person that's like, all right, you don't think I can do this? Fuck you. Watch. Sit there and watch. You know, at the end of the day, you just have to put your fucking socks on, put your boots on. You got to go to work. You know, there's not one thing that motivates anybody. It's just for me, I have to stay self motivated. That's the only way that I can make it to tomorrow. I can't. I get it. We all go through depression. You know, we all. You know, we all feel like there's only one way out sometimes. But at the end of the day, you could do that, or you could try to better your environment. And that's what I try to do every day, even on days I don't want to. There's some days I wake up and I'm so tired from not sleeping. My heart's hurting from all the stimulants that I take. You know, organs are screaming at you internally. You fucking broken, but you get up and you fucking get through that day. And that's a type of self motivation that you can't teach in a book. That's a product of your own tribulations. That's a product of knowing what rock bottom feels like, to where you never want to feel that again. You know, that's the only reason that I stay in the gym every day, is because part of me feels like I don't like what I am, so I might as well try to change it. And the only way I can change it is by growth, whether it's physical growth, mental growth. You just got to do what you got to do to succeed in life. And for staying motivated, we could talk about a million type of people that motivate you. You know, motivational quotes all fucking day. But at the end of the day, that shit doesn't fucking matter. They don't care about you. You have to care about yourself to be self motivated. You have to realize that at the end of the day, you're all that you have in this world. Your spouses can leave you. Your animals and kids will die. You know, the only thing you can control is your actions and what you say or what you do. And I just know for me that I'm not going to be satisfied until I determine that I'm successful. And that's what motivates me to get through every day, you know. And a lot of people need to be more aware of that, you know, especially in the United States, especially with COVID going on. Mental health awareness is horrible, you know. Some people have went through so much stuff that like you just locked in a house for fucking weeks, months on end, you know, having to work from home, like can't get a breath of fresh air, like to be truly self-motivating, you have to get through that. And sometimes you really have to be disgusted with what you look like in the mirror to do what you need to do. Your boy's out.